Hello one and hello all, your favorite local Freddy simp here. Now today's video is going to be a follow-up on the previous Uneeda Horror Podcast episode. I was called out a little bit in the comments on something, and quite frankly you guys are right. So if you caught the latest episode, it was us ranking the looks and performances of Freddy Krueger. And at the end of the episode we started talking about the special looks of Freddy throughout the movies. Looks that were unique to certain kills or moments in the films, and I thought I really wanted to dive in and talk about many of the looks that I just quite frankly never did in that episode. So without further ado, let's look at some of the coolest looks of Freddy Krueger for the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. Here we go. So the first thing I'm going to throw it to comes from the original A Nightmare on Elm Street, and it's going to be the skeleton face Freddy. This should have made my list every day of the week. I feel foolish for not having it on there. Quite frankly, getting a shot of this now, I'm noticing that it's not really a smile that he was giving, but just a skeleton face with exposed eyeballs. That's got to be the freakiest part of this whole thing. That is a killer look. Next up comes from the good folks over at Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors, and you know it, it's got to be Where's the Bourbon Freddy. We're going to talk about more stuff from Dream Warriors, but I always liked it when Freddy dressed up in different outfits. I just got a kick out of that. Also, him with a straight face holding Kristen's mom's head is just somewhat disturbing. Damn, this movie's good. Let's stick with Dream Warriors again for just a second. One of the shots that always stuck with me was what I call the Kaiju Puppeteer Freddy, when he's this massive apparition above the building, and he cuts all the tendons from the kid to make him fall off the building. That just stuck with me, and it still sticks with me. What a great shot from that movie. I love it. Now, if you're a fan of the channel, we've talked about the look of Part 2 Freddy at length, but in case you missed the latest podcast episode, we've got to talk about the red eye look of Freddy Krueger in Part 2. Now, honestly, no words can really describe how great this look of him was, but I mean, just to say that this is not the best look ever would be an understatement. That is the scariest look of Freddy I think I'll ever see in my lifetime. Jeez Louise. Alright, so let's throw it over to the Dream Master, the fourth entry in the Nightmare on Elm Street series. One of my favorites. It's gotta be Dr. Freddy. Anytime Freddy takes the occupational route and dresses up in some kind of profession, I'm all for it. And Dr. Freddy is just, it's money. What can I say? Don't you guys worry, we're sticking with the Dream Master yet again to talk about one of the greatest looks of all time from the series, the Chest of Souls. This is a picture of why this is my favorite horror franchise in the world. So inventive, so creepy, so haunting. The Chest of Souls is legendary. Also, that look when all the limbs start coming out of him and grabbing his face and pinning him down, that is just some freaky stuff. Love it. So I've got a number of looks to go through in the Dream Child because there are some really cool ones, so let's just jump right into it. To no surprise should be Chef Freddy. Again, the occupation thing is just money. And Chef Freddy comes in just as pissed as Gordon Ramsay does in an episode of Hell's Kitchen. Gotta love it. I will throw it to my boy Baby Freddy. You guys know I love Baby Freddy, and one of my favorite props in my horror room that I actually own is a Baby Freddy made by David Miller. There's nothing like Baby Freddy. I always thought Robert Englund himself was just a creepy looking dude, and when he got to be makeup less or just human in this film as a maniac in that asylum and in the dream sequences, I loved it. Still sticking with the 5 is Motorcycle Freddy. I always loved this sequence in the film. I think it's actually the best death scene in Part 5, and when he turns into a motorcycle and turns Dan into one, that is awesome. One that doesn't get mentioned a whole lot is what I like to call the distorted limb Freddy. When he resurrects in 5 in the church, he has like this really long, nasty arm and foot. It's just weird, and I really like it. Something about that's really cool. So on the podcast, I talked about the bus driver Freddy that I really liked. And I know Freddy said it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I do want to throw a little bit of love over to the Witch Freddy. I know, it's hokey. But you know what? The movie's hokey and I love it. And say what you will about that scene, but once you heard, "I'll get you, my pretty, and your little soul too," you never forgot it. Don't even lie to me. Alright guys, so let's throw it over to New Nightmare, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. You know something? That long mouth look of Freddy in the end when he starts to eat Dylan in the head? Dude, that is just weird and creepy and I love it. Yeah. That's a cool scene. And last but certainly not least, guys, we go to Freddy vs. Jason. And hey, credit where credit is due. When Nick said Demon Freddy, I was almost like, huh, for a second, but then I realized, you know what? That is a deadly look right there. The look of Demon Freddy is almost as scary as Freddy from Part 2, if you ask me. I mean, when you look at him, you certainly want to run into that guy. And the look of that Freddy looked like he would have trashed Jason in that movie, if you ask me. Demon Freddy is pretty damn cool. I gotta be honest with you. So when I think about it, I gotta think that the Chest of Souls is my favorite special look of Freddy in the entire series. It's just the perfect blend of like beauty and horror. I love it. So that's gonna be it, guys. Now I feel better that I've gone through a lot of great looks of Freddy from the series. I ask you, what's your favorite? Thanks for watching. See you guys soon. Thank you to all my supporters on Patreon. To get behind the scenes photos, videos, and music, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month.